The love lives of My 600-Pound Life stars are almost as complicated as their weight loss journeys. Besides profiling the day-to-day realities of the morbidly obese, the hit TLC reality show also shines a light on its stars' tricky romances. Think you've already heard all the juicy drama? We're going inside the love lives of these 600-Pound Life stars. Those who have never seen My 600-Pound Life might suspect that none of its stars have ever had a relationship, ever. And that could be due to pervasive fat phobia, which perpetuates the myth that overweight people are unattractive or undesirable. But in real life, those ideas have been proven untrue. And frankly, for some, appearances just aren't as important as they are to others. For them, it's what's on the inside that counts.
We were like Bonnie and Clyde.
The majority of the show stars appear to be already enjoying meaningful partnerships when they make the decision to sign up for Dr. Now's weight loss program. Betty Jo had her husband Josh, Nicole had her fiancé Charlie, Lupe had her husband Gilbert, and Amber had her boyfriend Rowdy, just to name a few. If you were thinking any of these stars have a hard time getting lucky in love, you'd be wrong.
I get fast food anywhere from 1 to 2 times a day, sometimes 3. I'm conflicted by buying this food. I give in because I don't want to fuss.
As Dr. Now has often said on the show, most of his patients have enablers who bring them unhealthy foods, despite the fact that it's literally killing them. Oftentimes, the enablers are family members, and that, of course, can extend to the patient's romantic partners. Lupe's husband Gilbert brought her all of the food she wanted, including a large box of donuts, even though she was bedridden, diabetic, and on oxygen. And then there was Christina's husband Zach, who admitted point-blank that if Christina wants something, he gets it, because he didn't want her to be angry with him.
If she wants something, I go get it. Because I love her and she asked me to.
He even said that despite the fact that he claimed he was scared to lose her. And then we met Amber, who was shuttled to and from the grocery store by her boyfriend Rowdy, who said he felt guilty about enabling her, but also admitted that it was too hard to stop.
I shouldn't eat all this.
But, I mean, what else do you do when you love somebody, right?
Each of the men professed their love and devotion to their partners, but they may have also had psychological issues of their own to contend with. All of the 600-Pound Life stars exhibit varying degrees of functionality depending on their weight, health conditions, age, and physical decline. Whereas some patients are relatively mobile and can get themselves the unhealthy foods that they crave, like Randy, others are in a much more dire situation, like Marla, who couldn't even stand up when she was first introduced on the show.
I'm glad to see that you're trying. I'm proud of you giving it a shot.
I didn't think I could get up.
But many of the stars rely on at least one other person to do everything for them, which quite often will be their romantic partners. That includes buying and preparing their food, bathing them, dressing them, transporting them, and even helping them use the restroom. Since Lupe was confined to her bed and unable to leave it, Gilbert had to both help her bathe and use the bathroom, all from her bed. That kind of relentless physical toll could certainly put a damper on any romance.
They need to be taken care of 24/7 because I can't do anything for myself.
You might think that when the stars lose weight, become more active, and get their lives back together, that their romantic relationships would also improve. Especially since, in many cases, their partners have become their primary caretakers, sacrificing much of their time and energy to look after them. But in more than one instance, their partners aren't on board with the changes that significant weight loss can usher in. They may feel intimidated by their significant other's newfound independence and concerned that they're no longer needed. When Laura shed hundreds of pounds and began to do things for herself, her husband Joey became extremely unhappy. He didn't want Laura to be independent and resented her for aspiring to go back to school and get a job.
Maybe we're not meant for each other. He thinks that I'm the one that's changed, but I haven't. It's just that he looks at me different because I look different.
Their relationship became so stressed that the couple ended up splitting for good. Laura eventually found herself a new man, which she celebrated in a since-deleted Facebook post. Whether or not the two are still together, we wish her all the best. Just as you might be tempted to think it's hard for these stars to find romance, you might also suspect that if their relationship crashes and burns, they'll have a tough time finding someone new. But for some of these stars, finding love is the least of their worries. Once they split up or get a divorce from their partners, they have no problem finding someone new. That's what happened to Tanisha, whose husband Troy walked out on her because he wasn't willing to support her on her weight loss journey. And while that nearly derailed her progress altogether, she was eventually able to move on. Tanisha even had a new boyfriend before her episode was halfway over.
Because I'm happy now. I have a new man in my life. His name is David. Thank you. We've been best friends for over 12 years.
Clearly, this star was able to find new love at the drop of a hat. And with that added spark, she also found the motivation to continue her weight loss journey. It shouldn't be too surprising that some of the 600-pound life stars link up with partners who definitely have a thing for extremely large women. While of course there's no shame in being attracted to larger people, reducing them to an object because of their size is where it becomes problematic. If the 600-pound life stars ever want to make changes to improve their lifestyle and literal well-being, that often creates real problems for their partners.
Oh, you're costing me my weight loss surgery and you're ruining everything!
That was definitely the case for Jalen, whose husband Gareth was very clear about the fact that he only likes large women, and he made sure to mention it many times throughout the episode.
I've always liked bigger women. You know, why settle for a hot dog when you can have a steak?
The couple met on a fetish site, where Jalen posted scantily clad pictures of herself in little more than underwear.
She looked so big and comfy and soft and squishy. You know, I like big women, and she was their queen at the time.
Eventually, the two got married and had a child, but when Jalen chose to do something about her increasingly dangerous size, Gareth wasn't having any of it. He was so unsupportive of her weight loss journey that they eventually divorced. And it turned out, that was the best thing for Jalen.
He didn't want me to lose the weight, and I didn't deserve to feel bad about choosing my health.
She was putting herself first and focusing on her health. For longtime fans of the show, there's a glimmer of hope in the fact that many of the featured stars actually find healthier romantic relationships once they've turned their lives around. It makes sense, since a person surely has more to bring to the table when they're feeling good about themselves.
You're the answer to every prayer that I've ever prayed, and I love you with all my heart.
Just a couple of years after Jalen divorced Gareth and lost a significant amount of weight, she posted a photo on her Facebook page with a new man. By the looks of it, Jalen had found happiness with a new boyfriend, who is hopefully way more supportive of her health than her ex was. And in other happy news, Lupe was able to find a new boyfriend after her time on the show, according to a very cozy post with her guy Andrew on Facebook. Easily one of the most controversial stars on the entire 600-pound life series is Steven Asante, whose double episode with his brother Justin debuted at the end of Season 5. Steven was a horrifying bully to his dad, his brother, and everyone around him. Fans will remember him famously spilling a jar of urine at the hospital, stealing his brother's painkillers, and attempting to manipulate Dr. Now into giving him pain pills he didn't need. He's also posted some seriously bizarre videos on YouTube.
I feel free.
But all of his wild antics seem to be behind him now that he married a massage therapist from Iowa. While some people might think it's some kind of catfishing scam, Steven's wife Stephanie has publicly professed her love for him. She shared with Starcasm, "His face, his eyes, and hair, I think he's beautiful. Steven is nothing like how he was perceived on the TV show at all, or on his YouTube videos. He's a gentleman and a fantastic lover, and lover of life in general." The couple even has matching tattoos. Sounds like a match made in reality TV heaven. Despite the fact that many of the existing romantic partnerships on My 600-Pound Life dissolve once the patient stops compulsively overeating and self-destructing, there are some couples that are solid enough to weather the storm. In fact, they can come out even stronger on the other side, having both worked together to better their lives. One particularly successful relationship can be found in Nicole and her fiancé Charlie. While Charlie was her primary caretaker and enabler, Nicole was determined to be successful on Dr. Now's program, so she changed her diet and exercise habits. Although Charlie struggled a little bit when he had to give up his favorite foods, he was generally supportive. The couple celebrated 6 years together in August of 2019, according to a since-deleted Facebook post. And it looks like Betty Jo and Josh are also still together. They're even parents now too, according to Starcasm.
But being together, with both of us struggling with food, has not been a good thing because we've just been gaining.
Some of the romantic partners of these stars are also overweight themselves. Several of the spouses and partners struggle with their own eating issues, with some of them even qualifying for weight loss surgery. One particular instance of this scenario was with Nyssa, who was Chuck's wife. Although Chuck got off to a bit of a rocky start, he did eventually manage to shed enough pounds to qualify for weight loss surgery. But Chuck wasn't the only one to go under the knife. His wife Nyssa also had weight loss surgery, hoping to get a better handle on her health.
Just give me a chance. Let's work this out. I've lost weight and I'm doing good.
Nothing's changed. I'm miserable.
Sadly, Chuck and Nyssa ended up divorcing, according to a post on his Facebook page where he wrote just one word, single. But that doesn't come as a surprise for anyone who saw their episode, where Nyssa often looked like she was at the end of her rope.
We don't have an intimate relationship. I just feel like a servant.
Chuck later went on to marry his new wife, Erica, and he seems to be staying on track with his health. Here's hoping both Chuck and Nyssa are both much better off.
I'd never guessed in a million years I'd get a second chance like this.
The vast majority of My 600-Pound Life stars have endured trauma in one form or another, including abuse from the family members who were supposed to love and protect them. Still, that hasn't stopped some of them from perpetuating that abuse and hurting their romantic partners. Of all of the participants featured on the series, Lee stood out as especially cruel. He was both verbally and physically abusive to his girlfriend Renee, something that Dr. Now acknowledged as a real problem. That persisted into their follow-up episode, despite the fact that Lee made a solid effort to control his anger.
The only time you are ever nice to me or talk to me like a human is when you need or want something.
Yeah.
But it's not just the stars who are abusive to their partners. Sometimes the abuse goes the other way. On top of telling his own daughter he wished she had never been born, Gareth once blatantly insulted Jeanlyn while their daughter watched when she simply asked for a salad.
I'd rather have a salad.
I'm not buying you a salad. If you want to eat grass, you can go in the garden and graze.
Season 2's Christina also eventually split from her ex-husband Zach, calling him out on his abusive behavior in her follow-up episode. Infidelity can be deadly in any relationship. It just so happens to affect 50% of partnerships, according to Psychology Today. And that statistic also applies to the stars of My 600-Pound Life, some of whom have either cheated on their partners or have been cheated on themselves. Lee drew the ire of My 600-Pound Life fans when Renee shared in a since-deleted Facebook post that he had an affair. She called an unnamed person a cheater in the post, tagging Lee, and said she was now free of what she called, quote, excess baggage. After that, Lee updated his relationship status in another now-deleted post, indicating that he was in a relationship with another woman who was rumored to be married. Oddly, Lee and Renee appear to have reconciled since, according to Renee's Facebook page, but it's unclear what the future holds for them.
Sometimes I feel like I'm out looking for affection sometimes because I don't get it from you.
And yes, sometimes the cheating plays out in the opposite direction. This was the case with Lupe, who discovered that Gilbert was cheating on her during her follow-up episode.
And the more I'm away from Gilbert, the more I see how he was holding me back. The new Lupe is coming out.
It looks like all the real-world drama and heartbreak of any relationship also touches the lives of the 600-Pound Life stars, too. Here's hoping they can all find their own happiness. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more list videos about your favorite celebs are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.